10x your service design offering with Smaply. Take 20% off any order with This Is HCD 20 off. Let's superpower you and your design team's potential. Sign up at smaply.app. Enjoy the episode from your friends at Smaply, helping support This Is HCD podcast.
Welcome to Doing Design podcast on This Is HCD, hosted by all the world's best live design and innovation trainers from thisisdoing.com. In this podcast, we'll speak about all the behind the scenes things related to actually doing innovation and design within organizations. So we'll cover topics that include design research, service design, user experience design, content design, product management, and much, much more. In this episode, you'll hear from myself and Renatus Hoogenraad, a trainer at This Is Doing and one of the finest facilitators and practitioners in the business. Renatus is an executive coach with a background in theatre and dance and is also a leader within the world of applied improvisation. In this episode, we speak about how facilitation is evolving due to the pandemic and how our home offices are becoming less about workspaces and moving closer towards what a stage would be. Look, it's a good one, and let's get straight into the episode. Renatus Hoogenraad, a very warm welcome to the Doing Design podcast. How are you?
I'm great. Happy to be here. How are you?
I'm doing okay. It's Monday morning, so everything is always a little bit rusty after a good weekend. Renatus, let's start off. Tell us a little bit about where you are right at this moment. Give us an overview and where you're currently located. What does it look like there?
Yeah, I'm speaking from Europe. I'm now actually in France, in my home office, about 10 kilometers away from Geneva, where my company is based.
You're in that beautiful space in the world next to the Alps.
Exactly, the lake and the Alps, everything,
You've got everything.
everything a Dutch guy needs, actually.
We're just speaking about how, like, you're surrounded by mountains and you're originally Dutch, so you're from the flat lowlands. So how did you get to be in near Geneva? Like, what took you there?
Well, basically, it's the ring on my finger. It's
Ah,
love. It's love, Jerry. It's love.
yeah, absolutely. Well, there are lots of stories, I'm sure, on that alone, like how you came to be close
Exactly.
to Switzerland.
Mm.
But Renatus, how do you describe what you do? Because you have a really, really interesting background. How do you describe what you do?
Yeah. So I work with people, teams, organizations to help them work better together, collaborate, co create in a way that it's for the human inside organizations a good place to
Mm,
be, where they can grow and where they can learn and where they can, yeah, add to their purpose, I would say.
mm,
The important part is to do things together. And how does that work? How can we facilitate that?
yeah. So typically, what kind of problems would you see clients coming to you with and saying, "Listen, look, this is it. This is a typical problem." What do they look like? What sort of problems do you help them solve?
It's well, of course, we live in turbulent times now, where
Mm,
the problems that come now is a bit different. But in general, it is around. There's probably two layers. There is getting people to align and to making sure that they can communicate together in a way that is purposeful, I would say, and adds value to the conversation. So this is one element of it, and the other element is really around we have this project, we have this promise, I would say, either to clients or internal external, that we need to make happen, and we don't know how to do this. So help us organize ourselves and become often more daring, actually, in our propositions internally and in the way we communicate together.
a lot of that's a very human traits, like problems working with other people and the political dynamics of power and stuff within organizations. This is going to be much harder to do, presumably through the medium of online. How are you finding these kind of workarounds at the moment?
It's super interesting. It has, of course, there again two sides. It's the learning curve from my side. People in my role, I think, has been very very steep. And it's we're now getting out of like the firefighting, let's say, area now for now around this. It's been interesting because you can do a lot online actually. And
Mm.
I'm a physical guy. My background is in theater, is in dance, is in performing, getting an audience to respond. And online it's that's totally different. However, it's you get used to it and it's a way of communicating which is different. It's not the only one. And this is, I think, which is an important thing to underline, is that often organizations and teams now think everything needs to be online as of now.
What are your thoughts on that?
Well, things are evolving. This is also a very human thing, Gary. You know this. I
Yeah,
mean, the COVID is still there right now.
yeah. It's not going away.
It's not going away. It's going to be there. It's going to be there, and we have to live our lives.
Yeah,
So we have to deal with this, and this is dealing with uncertainty. And this is something that is really core to my work as well, is helping people to make decisions and collaborate without having the full picture in mind.
yeah,
This is a great example, is that we don't know how it's going to work. We still need to make sure that as organizations and as teams, we innovate and we keep on moving forward. If we don't, competition will do. So there is this urge to get things done. And at some point, we need to make a decision on what can be done online, what is a good
yeah,
thing to do online, and what can be done maybe offline in real world in different settings. So the let's say the happy mix between
yeah,
worlds is, I think, the future of.
yeah. Are you seeing like the additional fear as a component being added to the conversation? Do you think
Yeah.
that's increasing the acceleration to the need for working quicker and getting stuff out to match that kind of demand?
Yeah, there's a bit of that. I see with some of my clients that they make radical decisions, like we will not have any, let's say, in-room group gatherings
Mm,
until June 2021. Boom, that's it.
yeah,
There is, I think, from my side, a lot of fear behind that.
mm,
Especially we don't know.
yeah,
So yeah, so there is. I think fear is a big player here, and I don't think it's a very wise thing to listen to in this case.
yeah.
There's more angles to this.
A conversation that I'm hearing myself, like,
Mhm.
I'm getting a couple of requests to do in-person stuff,
Yeah.
and it's, my natural reaction is like, "Whoa, oh,
Mm.
meeting people."
Yeah.
So there's this huge response to everything that's going on, and kind of like, how am I going to respond to these things? Because eventually I'm going to have to, meet people and speak to people and interact, because the world is going to have to come to that point where we feel like we just have to do it. Like we're just going to have to jump in and do these
Yeah.
things.
But I think that's a conversation to have, really, because again, online is a great medium, and this is doing. I mean, what we have out there is enormous, and
Mm,
you can do so much online, and
yeah,
some elements are interesting or more appropriate to do in person. And this is also this is the human brain. I mean,
yeah,
you may have read some articles around this, is that the online stuff is tough for us because, especially visually, we have everything is in 2D,
yeah,
and our brain needs to make up the full image of how people are communicating. And a lot of this is nonverbal, and we only see, if lucky, we have a camera on and we see each other's faces. If not, it's just a black screen.
yeah,
So we have to make interpretations of that. So in some situations, especially when there is uncertainty or decision making involved, that requires people to deal with parts of the puzzle only, maybe in a room, maybe at distance, and this is where we have to be creative, I guess.
yeah.
It's useful.
You mentioned there at the start, your background is in dance and
Mm,
theater and getting
yeah,
people to respond to things. And
yeah,
I know I've played music as well and in bands and stuff, and it's very much throwing something in to get people involved and
yeah,
being able to get the read of the room and
yeah.
the smell and
Mm,
the energy. It's a very physical thing, working with people,
yes.
and especially with applied improvisation as well.
Mm,
Your background in that. How
yes.
how are you finding translating that to get some of that energy across? Like, well, what are the things that you're doing to
Mm.
really try and make that happen?
That's super interesting indeed, and we've been researching this with my friends of the Applied Improvisation Network. By the way,
Mm,
it's a great group of people, and
yeah.
we try things out. And so we do a lot because you're talking about the senses, basically, about
Mm,
touching, about hearing, about this, even the smell of stuff.
yeah.
So we use a lot of music.
Yeah.
We have playlists. We really play with that.
Yeah.
We do activities where people get physical
Yeah.
when appropriate in the process of a project. And we even have things like in touching, for instance, when we ask people to grab an object on their desk somewhere
Mm,
and describe it for us. So they have to touch it and they have to describe what it is, or even the smell of it. So we try to make sure that people are on board fully, and also through the senses, we get more engagement.
mm. Do you have any sort of understanding of the rationale of the benefits of what you're talking about? So there's some cynical people out there. I say
Oh
cynical
yeah, of
people, but like that are saying,
course,
well, you can just do all this online. Like,
of course.
why should businesses care about bringing sensuality and that type of level of experience to their collaboration efforts?
I think it's a great question, Jerry. And for me, what I read about this and what I talk to my
Mm,
colleagues around this, it's because we are human beings. We are animals. we we are social monkeys. I mean,
yeah,
and okay, we don't flee, especially in my case because I'm bald. It doesn't really work. But
we're
but
aerodynamic, Renatus. We're
oh yeah,
aerodynamic.
swim really fast, by the way. No, but that's the thing is that the interaction goes through so many channels that we are partly actually unaware of, and in organizations, this is part of working together and
Yeah,
taking it out. And there's a reason to do this, and we can do a lot, true, but people deprive. I have a lot of my environment, my clients tell that there's frustration
yeah,
around this, and maybe it's an interesting thing to see happening with workspaces, just like an office or something. And what I see happening now in research is that people go back to the office if they're allowed to, by the way, to actually socialize. So they go to the office to relax and to have a good time, where which is basically the opposite of what happened before COVID.
yeah. Absolutely. Like I know the research was there. I think it was something like 75% or 80% of people in the UK wanted to go back to normal. I'm doing air quotes
Yeah,
here for normal,
yeah,
and they'd be happy to do 1 day a week in the
yeah,
office just to get that face to face interaction.
yeah, yeah.
But is that face to face interaction centered around work, or is it centered around for the need for interaction and stimulation of the senses to feel connected again?
Again, it's a great question, Jerry, and I
Yeah.
think this is what organizations need to think about now today.
Yeah.
Is that to make those choices around this? What are we here to do? You need to value that the human aspect of this and the interaction aspect that needs to happen. And
Yeah.
that's not the only thing that needs to happen, because you can use time in the office really, really valuably
Mm.
in working together around doing something, getting things done.
Yeah. But isn't it like a bit like pressure in a canister? If people really need to socialize and interact, that steam needs to be let out, and there's a need there that in order for other things to really evolve and naturally progress.
Yeah.
So if organizations are keep pushing people down this kind of conveyor belt of speed and
Yeah.
efficiency, then they're missing this whole opportunity that will eventually
Yeah.
result in churn and
Yes.
or employees leaving and stuff.
Absolutely. Again, this is really true because other organizations, there's some organizations out there who actually do their maths and they think about this and they have collaborative approaches to ask
Yeah,
people, "Well, how should we do this?" Because there is, of course, there's no answer. And by the way, within organizations, different functions have different
yeah,
needs. So go creatively designing the future of collaboration, I think is key now, because if you don't do it, there's going to be brain drain. People
yeah.
who find opportunity somewhere else where they have thought about this and they have a clear vision around this and practice, they might just go somewhere else.
So you mentioned co-creation there,
Yeah.
and a lot of the books that have been written with co-creation in mind are all centered around face-to-face interaction. And
Yes.
whenever I've used co-creation, like one of the examples I give is where I read the room and I realize something's not working and something's not landing.
Yeah.
And not being able to have that read in the room is something that us practitioners, designers, facilitators, innovators, whatever you want to call us, it's very difficult to get that stuff.
Yes.
So, how do you see the future of co-creation evolving as a result of the pandemic and being kind of restricted through the channel of digital?
Yeah, I think this is fine tuning of
Mm,
the means and the technology we have. For instance, we are now planning to do an in room session in a few months, actually in a month time,
yeah.
where we will be working in the room online. So in distance. So meaning that how can you make hybrid solutions around this where
Mm,
you don't have to be sitting together or hold each other hands or something or doing the or doing
yeah.
it's not about that. It really is about how can we design this because collaboration needs to happen and the tools we have, we talk about online whiteboards, all the polling system, they're really important for decision making and co-creation.
Mm,
So you can have a mix. So I think experimenting with this is going to be at least what's happening going to happen for us now.
yeah. So, what are the things that you're kind of seeing in terms of trying to understand what works and what doesn't work? So, how do you determine that? That's the bit that I'm interested in because as I design workshops for
Mm,
clients, all the this is doing
yeah.
stuff. How do we know what is working and what's not working?
This is around direct feedback loops.
Mm,
Well, of course, it's the journey you design for this because
mm,
you can have several moments within the design, the journey design, where you can
yeah,
actually make sure that you get the information back
mm,
around this. You have questionnaires, all those things, of course. But
mm,
especially when you talk about read the room or when you're in a session, is make space to have people actually express themselves in a more open way. The danger, of course, is because let's say we only have 90 minutes together to do
yeah,
whatever we need to do, and we cement it with stuff. Okay.
yeah,
We have all those boards ready, we have the presentations ready, we have people that do stuff. And they're engaged, of course, they're motivated, they're engaged, they're doing it because most of the people, they are really they wanted things to happen. So, however, if that's going on, especially when you have breakout rooms, for instance, if they work in subgroups,
mm,
you don't sense that. So building in some moments where people can express themselves, things are quite simple actually. It's just like put on some reflection time, 3 minutes
yeah,
reflection time. You put in some music, some very background, very silent music, and you have them reflect and then say, how's it going? And then
yeah.
people will respond.
That's definitely something that I've probably failed at, if I'm
Mm.
being brutally honest. Like in terms of, when you've got a 90-minute session and your client is
Yeah,
paying, and there's a
of
case of like,
course.
I need to dance and I need to dance pretty quickly, and it's a case of just like performing to get what you need to get done
Yeah,
at a certain speed
yeah.
and not giving that time to for people to catch a breath.
Of course, we're all guilty in this, especially in this
Yeah.
in this environment now. Is that because time? I mean, it's. I think even the perception of time is different now. When you're in a room
Mm.
with a group of people for half a day or a day, things
Flies.
happen. Okay, you take a break
Yeah.
here and there, or I don't know.
Yeah. Yeah. The yawn. I used
Yes.
to be always like, "Oh, the post-lunch yawn." I'm like, "I'm seeing them."
Yeah.
Okay, right. Let's look. Do you want a break now? Do you want a break early
Yeah.
and do a 3 or 4 minute
Yes.
walk around the block and come back? Okay, right. Let's just do that. Can't do that online. Like it's very difficult.
Well, and that's the thing is that can we not? Maybe it's we see happening is that sessions longer than 3 hours, that's basically
Yeah.
impossible. But even within those 3 hours, you can actually have people. Okay, we go outside. I mean, you can actually ask people to go outside and do stuff, or at least,
Yeah.
of course, you never know what's going to happen because you're not there in their
Yeah.
apartment. Luckily, by the way, that would be creepy.
Yeah. But the fear is they mightn't come back. This is one of my fears. Like they kind of go, let's go for 3 minute break, and then they come back 20 minutes later
Yeah.
because it's you're in their home, and it's a
Yes.
case of like just someone could come to the door and like
Yeah.
DHL. They always seem to arrive whenever I click start.
Yeah.
It's very difficult to manage that.
Well, that's the thing is that we need to, and this is about building trust and building a space where people can. I said be is a big word, be, but this
Hmm.
where they can be who they are, and meaning that we have to trust them to do the right thing. And if that means that they have to go catch the DHL, well, that's probably the right thing.
Yeah.
So having those conversations at the start of a session like that is really important. Take 10 minutes to discuss this. Is guys, okay, what do you want? What do you expect from this session? And how can we make sure that everybody is on board? And they will tell
Hmm.
you.
Yeah.
And Something we've learned, I think, from this huge shift we had in the last few months
Yeah.
is that we can trust people.
Yeah.
A lot of organizations tell me, especially HR departments, tell me, "Wow, we thought we had to." Our leaders were really anxious that they would lose people. They would just not work anymore. But actually, no, they
Yeah.
people actually the production level has gone up.
Yeah. Well, it's because people are working much longer hours.
Exactly. No
Like it
commute.
is. Oh man, but it's also like this can't be healthy in the long term in
No,
terms of like
no, 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 no.
I know, people are sitting down at 8 o'clock in the morning and they're still working at 10 o'clock at night.
And that's the downside of this is that
Mm,
yes, it's possible. Co-creation is possible online. You can do things together. You can align meetings for 8 to 10 hours a day. It's possible, and people will do it because again, they've shown that the figures show that people they produce. They're there. They're serious about it, and it works. Productivity
yeah.
is there. The problem is now is the opposite side is that it's going to burn people out.
Yeah.
And hence the question we had about the office, people need to go somewhere else to decompress and see their mates and, and colleagues to make sense out of all that. I would say
Yeah. How do you see the whole kind of co-creation process develop? Because the reality is, I'm hearing people say when this is all over, and I'm of the mindset that this is not going to be all over. It's just going to be fractions of what we would determine as normal. So, what's it going to mean for collaboration for businesses online?
it means that you have to take this seriously. I think from again, it's not about waiting to see what's happening or what's going to happen because you don't know. It's we have
Yeah,
no clue, and even if there is a medicine or there is a vaccine for this, hey, it's not over yet. It
yeah,
has huge impact on business travel. We have already seen this. So you need to be creative from the start. So what I would say is that each organization needs to actually have a design moment around this. Is we need to look at our reality, maybe do some proper research. How are people organizing themselves now? What is working, what's not working? And then design the best way of collaborating in the future that fits us. At least
mm,
that's there for a moment. And start testing now.
yeah.
Don't wait because it's not. You're right. It's not going to change. It's not going to disappear.
You need to get on top of it.
Yes, yes, and I
Yeah,
think also if you leadership actually takes it on and is open about it and actually says we don't know what's going to happen. However, we want to make sure that we are catering towards our own needs as an
mm,
organization and as individuals in the organization. People will follow. People understand that.
yeah. I think it's being well. What I'm hearing here is for organizations to become more human and to have those conversations and show humility and show vulnerability at its core of saying, well, you know what, we actually don't know, and we are a little bit nervous ourselves, but we want to be able to tackle these things with you. Using co-creation actually to help shape the future for themselves.
But that's it. This is it. I mean, a lot of organizations are now equipped with the tools, design thinking, whatever you
Yeah, they're
call this,
not.
agile. Get onto it. I mean, this is the moment.
Yeah,
Frankly, if you don't, and we've seen it in the past. I mean, there's tons of research around this that claims that in the previous crisis, organizations who didn't innovate, they suffered big time.
yeah,
This is not different.
yeah. So one of the things that whenever I've attended any of the stuff that
Mm,
you've done, especially the stuff with Adam
mm,
on
yeah.
This Is Doing, the 3-part course of the facilitation fundamentals piece.
Yes.
Where did that come from? Why three? And
Ah, why three? Good point. Well, three is a great number, first of all. No,
yeah,
kidding. No,
sounds
it
like
really
Sesame
is.
Street.
Yeah, exactly. It's Cookie Monster. The fundamentals of facilitation, and it's a very big topic. It's facilitation. I live in France. Facilité. It really means make things easier. How can you make things easier? In this case, co-creation, collaboration, innovation. It's a very big topic because you have so many layers in this that we wanted to break down the essence of this, the
Yeah,
core of this, into three sections that were sections that are actually doable online because this is the medium we have now. There's a course that has we've done previously that was actually a 3-day course. So we now pack
Okay.
this into a 3-hour courses
Yeah.
where we touch upon the fundamentals of those, yeah, of what facilitation means in co-creation.
Mm. So one of the main pieces that I'm always learning and I haven't stopped is structuring sessions.
Yeah.
And in a room, I find it a little bit easier to say, well, okay,
Oh,
sandwiches and cakes. I'm going to give them some sugar, and I want them to think quicker
yeah.
afterwards. So there's no pasta coming in this room today. No pasta. Like think fast, think like I can control those things.
Yeah.
And structuring and control are one of the things that I always kind of use as tools when I'm
Yep.
designing sessions with
Yes.
clients. I'm saying, well, actually, you know what? Like, no, I'm not into giving them this
Yeah.
today. It's almost like being a school teacher. So they're going to get fruit
Mhm.
in the morning,
True.
and there's some fiber in that as well. So they get a slow sugar release. I do think like that whenever I'm planning my
Yeah.
sessions. I want to hear about your version of structuring and also how that has evolved to the online medium of kind of
Yeah.
designing online sessions.
So yeah, one of the fundamentals actually is around topic is around this tension between control and freedom.
Okay.
Is how do
Yeah.
you want if you want to facilitate a process, innovation process, or a meeting or whatever that is, there needs to be a part that is controlled, that is organized, it's planned, that has a structure, of course, and there's a part that is, and we talked about it, is about giving people the authorization actually to be human and to, I don't know, to say, hey, I need some sugar, or DHL is there, all those things you can't plan for. Or even super interesting also online is that all of a sudden there's an internet breakdown, or there's a power cut somewhere, or somebody doesn't get online
Mhm.
because of the cat, whatever. There's so much tech problems as well. You just
Yeah.
can't, you just don't know. So how do you balance that between controlling, organizing, planning, making sure that it has a fluid flow, I would say,
Mm.
and at the same time letting go and giving people the space to bring whatever they need to bring. That's
Mhm.
attention. But
Yeah.
yes, online. So the difference is there. Sorry, I didn't really reply to the answer to the question. Is that the we notice that online there needs to be way more preparation.
Yeah. There's definitely a case for that.
Yes. Oh yeah.
Everything, even the time of the day
Yes. Oh
to approach these things is really key. But whenever like I've seen yourself and Adam,
yeah.
like Batman and Robin, you're
Yeah.
a wonderful combination. I don't know who Batman is, by the way, in that relationship. Still trying to
Yeah,
figure it out.
we're still fighting over it, but
You would actually make a very good Batman and Robin.
yeah, it will be interesting. Yes, indeed.
But one of the other sessions I wanted to talk to you more around that was
Yes.
the presence. And my understanding of presence is probably closer towards performance and front stage, playing guitar, like, doing something kind of a little bit flashy, trying to get engagement and make a connection
Well,
at its
that's it.
core.
That is actually part of it. Presence is around how do you present something. So it's really about your presence as a person,
Mm,
and what are some elements in that. An element that we pull out of here is, for instance, charisma. Is what is charisma, and how could you deconstruct this so you understand it and then build your own version of
mhm.
this.
Yeah,
So it really is what position do I have or do I take towards my audience? And here again, you have possibilities. Often we talk about buttons or sliders,
mm,
indicators that you can push or dial really around. Do I need
yeah,
to have more authority? This means that there's a change in your voice. Maybe you have a lower voice. You speak maybe slower and
yeah,
be more direct around things. Or is it
yeah,
more around, hey guys, what do you want to do? You want to have a break? What do you think? Hey, I could say,
yeah,
I need some sugar, guys. Come on.
yeah,
And that's a different way of interacting. Having the possibility to go both ways allows
yeah,
you to engage, motivate, and get people, because they only have sound and, if lucky, a visual of you somewhere of the other group of
yeah.
people. So you need to do that.
So can I ask, like, one of the things that I've noticed, I've never given a workshop in person sitting down, right? I've
Aha,
never
true.
I've never done it sitting down at a table the
Yeah,
entire time saying, "Hey, everyone, markers are over there,
yeah,
post-its are over there."
yeah.
How do you find, like, I can stand up and with this microphone setup that I have here, but my
Yes.
desk doesn't rise up. When you're
Ah,
giving these workshops,
yes.
do you tend to do them standing up?
Tell you a big secret, Jerry. Now I'm actually standing
Yeah.
right now. I'm standing up.
Yeah.
So
Wow! It
yeah,
looks like
oh,
you're
that's
sitting
amazing.
down.
I'm actually so that's the thing is there, and this is linked, I think, to my background as a dancer. Really, this is my
Yeah,
education. I mean, I communicate with my body, and if I'm sitting down, actually my breath is crushed, my lungs are
yeah,
crushed over my diaphragm, so my voice is changed, and I don't have the reach, uh, vocal and
yeah,
physical, that I would have in a sitting down. So yeah, this is totally linked to in-room work as well, but it's similar
yeah.
as online.
Yeah, it's look like in my space here. I've got a converted attic at home, and I'm very lucky and appreciate it. And like
Yeah,
if my wife does listen to this episode, which she probably will actually, because
great.
she loves yourself and Adam.
Lovely.
Um, I'm, and this is my way of telling my wife I'm thinking about moving the desk upstairs,
Oh yeah,
so I can actually get more presentation kind of vibes. I can
yeah,
walk and actually present and
yeah.
stuff like that. It's something that I'm looking at the moment because
True.
it was something in the back of my head. I was like, actually, you know what? I'm
Yeah,
sitting down and I'm sure my energy is probably a little bit kind
that's
of
the
too
thing.
quiet.
But this is also this is super interesting because, well, first of all, there is this Swedish company that sells furniture that actually have not a too
I've seen
expensive.
these
uh,
yellow and blue logo.
Yeah,
Have you?
yeah, yeah. I've seen
Yeah,
it.
I'm not.
Yeah,
Don't give them the credit. Don't give them credit on this podcast. They have got enough money.
I know, but I don't. There's no. But the
Yeah,
thing is, so you have ways of actually wait, but or some boxes on your desk. There are ways
yeah,
to, but it's an effort. When we facilitate sessions, and we ask people just please stand up and
yeah,
shake your limbs. They go. "Oh, no, no."
yeah,
Oh, they're not. But once they do it, it actually changes the entire atmosphere of a session.
yeah.
So, and it's similar for us. This is maybe something that we need to think about: is how can we be more real, I think, to
Active.
ourselves? Active,
Mm,
exactly. If we are not
yeah,
active, if we're sitting down and we have a tone like this all the time, now please take out post-it and then go to this board and
I know. It's funny. Last year, whenever originally myself and Mark,
Mm,
we were chatting about this for a while, the whole "this is doing" thing. Every time he'd call me up and he'd be like, what's going on upstairs?" Like, and I'm like, "I'm after buying an LED banana and it's sitting in the back of the wall." And he's like, "Why?" And I go, "'Cause I see this place as being a studio. I see it
yeah,
like I don't see it like an office. I see it like a
true,
studio. If we're
absolutely,
gonna do this, it has to be interesting to look at, and I'll
absolutely.
change things around, blah blah." And now it like, this is why my wife was like, "Can you believe that he was working on a live classroom business
Mm,
before the pandemic?" I was like,
yeah,
but
we've
it's
we've
the
learned so much, Terry. That's the thing.
but it's rethinking the home office, because if we're to do this and to do it well, it effectively means our office becomes our stage.
Yes, indeed. And this is, yeah, and it's interesting because it's about lighting, it's about sound, it's about
Yeah.
it's about scenery, it's about props. All those things are real, and
Yeah.
they're real in organizations. I mean, it's costumes. I mean, how do people dress in their it, all those things are transferable, but especially
Mm.
for us in this case, it's gonna stay here. So you better gear up. Let's say
Yeah.
it that way.
Yeah, and I mean, if you're in this industry and you're doing workshops,
Yeah,
unfortunately, there is a need there now for us to evolve and improve what we have available to us, like sound, visual,
absolutely.
lights, and we have to be engaging. Like it is a challenge, but it's something that I've become more aware of.
I think you can agree with me is that part of our job is giving the people we work with an excellent experience. And
Yeah,
having proper microphones and a camera and all that stuff and lightings will actually it's more professional and people have a better experience around this.
yeah. I know Marcus Edgar Hormez.
Yeah.
He's my go-to person.
Oh, yes, absolutely. Share that with you.
I've moved beyond Google, and it's like my upgraded Google is
Yeah,
Marcus
true.
for any of this stuff. He's like, "No, you need
Yeah,
to get a new lead and you need to do this." And
yeah,
you need people around you who are kind of pushing the boundaries
absolutely.
to stay ahead of the curve.
Hey, just saying is that this is why this is doing the crew we have now is just great because we can there's so much information and knowledge and sharing happening. This is wonderful.
Yeah, as a group it is.
Exactly.
Renatus, We're
Yeah.
coming towards the end of this episode. I've enjoyed the conversation,
Me too.
and I want to say I love speaking with you. Okay, like I really do. There's a really good connection whenever I learn from you, and I learn from everyone else. That's the great thing about working with This Is Doing. But if people want to reach out to you,
Yeah.
how might they do that?
How might I do that? So there is a, let's say, a hub we call this the Co-Creation School,
Hmm.
co-creationschool.com,
Yeah,
where they can find me. Otherwise, there is I've got a Twitter handle which I not use a lot. Basically, it's my full name, Renatus Hoogenraad, without the
yeah.
two lost letters. Really easy. It's-
Okay. Well, I'll throw a link to that in the show notes.
exactly.
Yeah.
And LinkedIn, of course. We're active
Okay.
on LinkedIn and Facebook.
I'll pop that into LinkedIn as well. But I'm sure you yourself and the rest of them are working on some great courses at the moment. So
Yeah.
if you want to stay up to date on any of the courses that Renatus is running at the moment, just follow This Is Doing on Twitter, and we're also on LinkedIn at This Is Doing as well. Or join the newsletter, and you'll hear about them first and foremost through that. Thanks for your time today, Renatus.
Thank you, Jerry. It was a wonderful conversation. Looking forward to the next one.
So there you have it. If you like this episode, feel free to visit thisishcd.com, where you can access our back catalogue of over 100 episodes, with episodes related to service design, product management, design research, and much, much more. Now, if you're interested in design and innovation training, feel free to check out our business, thisisdoing.com, where you can join online classrooms and learn from the world's best design and innovation leaders. Join the This Is HCD newsletter, where you'll receive updates from the network, and also, if you're interested, apply to join the Slack community on thisishcd.com. Stay safe, and until next time, take care.